Hello, in today's video I'd like to talk about a miraculous herb called Vitex that has helped so many women fix their hormones, conceive babies and generally change their lives. At the same time, some women don't see results or get really bad results from it. So that's why I think it's important to share my own experience and share with you the bad sides of it and the good sides of it, so that you can make an informed decision easier if you'd like to try it. So let's get started. My relationship with Vitex is a bit of a love and hate relationship because I started it and stopped it so many times. And that's because I was getting good results in some ways and then I was getting some bad results in other ways, and I was always confused and I was never sure whether it was actually working. And the truth is also I stopped a few times way too early because Vitex is a very slow working herb, and I stopped after a couple of months, 2 or 3 times, and that was wrong because I didn't really start seeing any real results until 3 or 4 months after starting. So all I had to do was just to stick to it for a longer term. So probably the most important good thing I noticed about Vitex, actually a great thing, is that it finally lightened my periods to normal levels. When I started, my periods were over the normal limit. The normal limit is up to 80 milliliters and mine were around 126 milliliters. So when I started taking Vitex, after the first month I still had 126 milliliters. Then after the second month I had 106 milliliters. After the third month 87, and then after the fourth month it finally moved down to just over 60, which is in the normal range, and I just couldn't believe it. So it took me 4 months, and I feel that so many women quit too early and they never really get to see the incredible results, because I read that for some women it might even take 6 months to see the real results. So you definitely need to be patient and stick to it for a very long time. Another great thing I noticed is that it pretty much got rid of my spotting before periods. Before starting the Vitex, I used to regularly spot around 7 days before each period, sometimes even up to 10 days. And it was annoying to say the least, but I also knew that it was because of having low levels before the periods, low levels of progesterone before periods, which honestly isn't good at all. But after being on Vitex for a few months, my spotting disappeared, and now I just have 1 or 2 lighter days, and then the third day is properly heavy. So that's perfectly normal and I couldn't be happier. Also, it shortened my period a lot. In the past I used to have anywhere between 7 to 10 days, and now it's just 4 to 5 days, and it's just perfect. It makes my life so much easier. Another benefit I noticed is that it definitely improved the quality of my skin, both on my face and on my upper body. I noticed the differences in probably around 1 month after starting, and I just noticed like a lot of smoothness and softness all over me, no more bumps on my upper arms, and my skin was just more stable. I wouldn't really get breakouts during my periods anymore, just before my periods like in the past. It was just really nice and clear throughout the whole month. Now, talking about the bad sides of Vitex, of course, just like with anything else, I noticed some bad things as well. So the main thing is that it actually shortened my cycles a lot. So my standard regular cycles used to be between 26 to 28 days, but on Vitex they went all the way down to 23, 24, sometimes even 21 days, which is really too short. And that's because I was taking a dose that was too high for me. So I followed the dose recommendations on the bottle, which for some brands might be 3 capsules, for some 2, and it was just too much for me. Then when I reduced my dose to 1 capsule instead of 2, that problem disappeared and my cycles went back to 27 to 28 days, and I'm very pleased with that. Also noticed that taking too much Vitex, or too much is a relative thing because it was too much for me, but it was a correct dose written on the bottle. That dose was just completely killing my libido, but when I went down to half the dose, everything was perfect again and my libido recovered even more than before I started Vitex. Another problem I encountered is that I'm possibly allergic to mint. It's something that I discovered very recently, and Vitex is actually in the mint family, which I completely didn't know before that. And when I was taking the full dose of 2 capsules a day, I was getting weird allergic symptoms from Vitex, but going down to 1 capsule instead of 2 completely solved the issues, and I started feeling perfectly fine. So at the beginning of my experience with Vitex, I started Nature's Way, and the instructions on the bottle say to take 2 or 3 capsules, and I was taking 2. But that seemed to be still too much because, as I said, it was killing my libido and it just wasn't right for me. Then I moved on to Gaia's liquid capsules, and these are so much more powerful than Nature's Way in my experience. I just felt it so much more. And again, the instructions say to take 2 capsules, but it was way too much for me. But when I moved down to 1, it became perfect for me. So that's what I'm taking right now, and I think I'm going to take that 1 capsule for another month, and then I'll try to wean off it slowly and see if my body can work on its own now. Also, another important thing to mention is that one should never ever stop Vitex abruptly, because it will send all your hormones into a shock and it will take quite a while for your body to rebalance itself again. It's a bit like quitting the pill suddenly. It's a kind of similar situation, I guess. So I did it a couple of times, and trust me, it was awful. I was getting hot flashes like a woman in menopause, and it just wasn't fun at all. So I would definitely recommend to anybody not to do that. The best thing to do is just to reduce from 2 capsules to 1, then to reduce it to 1 capsule every other day, then every 3 days, and so on and so forth, until you stop it gradually, and then it will be so much easier for your body. So my final verdict is that Vitex is amazing. It was totally worth it for me. I feel that my hormones are perfectly balanced now. My periods are amazing compared to how it used to be. Yes, it didn't really touch my period cramps, but my period cramps were not really caused by any kind of hormonal issues. I made another video recently about the real cause of my period cramps, but everything else pretty much got sorted by Vitex. But it's definitely important to pick the right dose and stay on it for a long time, maybe even 6 months, to see any real results. So have you tried Vitex yourself? Have you seen any good results or bad results? Or have you heard any of your friends have incredible results? Perhaps shorter periods or lighter periods or a miracle baby? I'd love to hear your experiences. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.